Hey, Kryssie here. I am a landscape architect and the owner of Kismet Design. I am a very process driven designer, and I love sharing what I do and how I do it with anyone who's interested. Reaching your true potential and achieving your own personal goals will not happen by chance. You have to set your intentions, make a plan, and do the work. Thank you for joining me to nerd out on design. Don't forget to subscribe and to share too. Let's create something great together. Well, it's been a bit, but I am back. So thank you. Today, I wanted to share a funny story that happened to me a couple weeks ago. Something that I am very grateful for is humor. I love it when I am able to share a laugh with clients, colleagues, friends, family, you name it. It makes life so much more fun. A couple weeks ago, I had a really funny interaction with a new client of mine that reminded me of yet another very similar situation years and years ago. So I'll start with that. So, probably, let's see, maybe 10 years or so ago, I guess, I was in an initial consultation meeting with a new client, and we had just finished walking around their property, reviewing all of the things that they liked, the things that they wanted to change. You know how it goes. We moved inside to review the design process and the proposal and discuss steps for moving forward. Pretty routine, nothing out of the ordinary. And then it came up in conversation what the wife did for work. So naturally, I also asked what her husband did for work. I kid you not, people, with a completely straight face, he looked at me dead in the eye and said, "I am an international arms dealer." Yeah, for real. I laughed and then I looked at him just to realize he wasn't joking. And I wasn't sure because my dad has a really dry sense of humor and he can deliver the most absurd jokes with a completely straight face. And so I looked at him and then I looked at his wife and I looked back at him and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, I mean, what do you say to that? I felt so awkward. And I stumbled my way through asking if he was actually serious. And when he assured me that he actually was, that was his profession, he laughed and said, "I bet you've never met one of those before." And you know what? I have not. And still to this day, I have not met another, at least one that's told me that that's their profession. But I still didn't really believe him. Years later, after working with him, I realized that yes, he was not pulling my leg. It was true, but it was just, I don't know. It's stuck in my brain so much because that's one of the few times that I've been so thrown off by a client's comment that I couldn't get back on track. My mind kept circling and kept going back to that going, is he serious? Is he joking? And I felt totally off. Thankfully, it was the end of the meeting and not the beginning of the meeting. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have remembered a single conversation we had around the yard if we had started with that. Since then, I've only been surprised one other time, which I won't go into. I meet with so many people and so many interesting professions, and it's always really interesting and intriguing to me. But you don't really expect to come across something like that. Flash forward to a couple weeks ago, and again, it came up in conversation as it naturally does, 50, 60% of the time, maybe, what the wife did for a living. And then it came open for me to ask what his profession was. With the same unwavering, serious face, didn't even blink, he looked at me and said, "I'm a stripper." Oh my gosh. Awkward silence set in. My face, I am not a good poker player. I know that my face said all of the, oh my God, what do I say? Panic clear as day. And that awkward silence was actually more like 2 seconds, but it felt like 1,000. Then he smiled and laughed and told me he was joking and actually worked for a supply house doing inventory management of some kind. Oh my gosh, I thought after the international arms dealer conversation, I would never be that surprised again. I was wrong. I could not believe how awkward it was. My face was so red, but we laughed about it. It was funny. And at least he wasn't serious. I don't know how I would have reacted if it hadn't have circled back around that he was joking. And we even got to joke about it again when he offered to pay in cash for the design fee. Because I got to thankfully have my wits about me again to tell him that I do gladly accept cash, especially since he likely receives a lot of it in his line of work. And we both had a giggle. All of that to say, I am grateful for humor in my work. Design should be fun, it should be exciting. Our interactions with clients don't need to be stuffy and transactional. I love getting to know the personalities of my clients, awkward humor or not, and understand how they tick. Even better if we can share a laugh. The same goes for colleagues and industry partners, you name it. Making personal connections with those that you work with makes the process much more enjoyable. And the more I get to know a client, I feel like I am able to create a better design for them. So, no matter what their profession is, be prepared for some awkward answers, whether they're true or not. I look forward to the next time I'm stumbled. If you've had some awkward or interesting or unique experiences like this with your clients, I would love for you to share. Reach out to me or tag me in a post. I really can't wait to hear what some of your stories are. One last thing before I let you go. I am currently working on a calendar of webinars and podcasts for next year. I know it's only September, but I am trying to be much more organized about the offerings that I have. And if you have a suggestion or a topic for either a webinar, work workshop training, or for a podcast, I would really, really love to hear from you. Reach out to me. You can use the link in the show notes. You can reach out to me through my website, or you can just email me, kryssie@kismetdesignco.com. To wrap up, I want to thank you for your time. I hope the ideas discussed today have left you feeling excited and energized. As I build both my business and my life, I value the support and feedback you provide. I would love for you to reach out to me to let me know what you think, give me ideas, or just to connect. Please don't forget to subscribe and also share with a friend. Until next time, go create something wonderful.